First Alert 6 starts now.
Good Tuesday morning, everybody. It is great to have you with us early on our First Alert 6 streaming. I'm Erin Hartley.
And I'm Cerise Cole, along with meteorologist Jared Lansford, senior chief meteorologist Rusty Laura, talking about more cold. And it is cold out there this morning. Definitely want the heat, coat, all the good things.
Yeah, it's still cold, better than yesterday when you compare the days. But yeah, plenty cold. The single digits are no fun when you're out in it without the right gear. So let's talk about where we're going. Now, the average high is about where we're going to be later on today. We should surge into the lower 30s and get a pretty typical January day. But you see 9 feels like 9 with calm winds. Good to have. Temperatures on average this morning in the last several hours have been bouncing around a degree or two either side of 10 pretty much is the way it's going. And a little bit colder to the northeast. And that's going to be a theme over the next several days. That's where the coldest air is going to be. Best chances of any snow. And you can see there some places down near 0. But they don't vary much because the wind is pretty light. Every time you get a little 5-mile-per-hour breeze, it does this to Atlantic down to 11 below. Last hour, it felt like 0 in Omaha. But again, it's all a matter if you catch one of the very light winds when the reading is taken. So factor that in. But the wind will pick up a little bit today as we warm up. Out of the southeast, could hit 20 miles per hour. Add a little sting to the air. Probably makes our wind chills down in the 20s today. And then overnight, it picks up a little bit again. So we could have some gusts near 25, maybe 30 miles per hour, but from the northwest. Clouds will stream in today, so the most sunshine you get is this morning, and then they'll fill up during the course of the day. Try to bring a little snow to the area. I'm not all that concerned about it, but you can see things fill up with more and more clouds into the late morning and afternoon hours. Temperatures 20s turn into lower 30s by 3 o'clock. You can see warmer southwest, colder northeast. And watch up here as we go a little deeper into the evening. Still about 32 or so by 5 o'clock. And you can see that a little batch of snow. Some of that tries to develop over our west central Iowa counties north of I-80. So if you get any snow, this is where it might drop a little half-inch total this evening with that little burst. I don't think it's going to be a huge problem, but our Harlan, Woodbine, Missouri Valley, Denison, Audubon viewers, watch for that, and maybe a little fog then towards tomorrow morning as our temperatures dip down in the 20s and 30s. Look at tomorrow, though, 44 with a pretty nice afternoon if it weren't for the wind. Let's talk about it because it is going to pick up on Wednesday. Could have a few gusts overnight tonight, but another very windy day on Wednesday. Probably going to get some gusts in the afternoon. You can see how they're sneaking up near 50 miles per hour. When we get close to 60, that's when you start to talk about some damage potential. As that gets right near severe thunderstorm criteria. But I think a lot of our gusts on Wednesday afternoon, probably 40 to 50 miles per hour with 1 or 2 trying to spike above that. And that's what we'll be watching into the afternoon. Thank goodness it doesn't keep going into the evening. By 10 o'clock and beyond, the winds really start to back off. So it's a Wednesday afternoon thing the way it looks. But that'll be the warmest day. Unfortunately, we just can't pair up any good stuff together. If it's warm, it's windy.
Yeah.
If it's cold, it's windy most of the time, too.
Well, again, we're really in for it on Friday, even past Friday into the weekend as well. But let's talk about the details of the First Alert 6 weather day.
Yeah, Friday's the day to watch. It keeps trending a little bit colder, especially in the morning. And what we're going to have is some wind late on Thursday that drives the cold air in Thursday night for us on Friday morning. So 7 below to start off, 4 for the afternoon high. It's going to be a struggle to warm. I think single digits, somewhere in the mid-single digits will be the best we can do on Friday because clouds are going to move in during the day, and that'll limit our ability to warm. So the coldest air of the season so far is why we have a First Alert 6 weather day. Look at the wind chills, between 10 and 30 below. So the worst of it will be driving in Thursday night right into Friday morning. You can see where by 6 o'clock, we're talking 15 to 30 below 0 wind chills. We have not been this cold yet this season. And those will persist for several hours in the morning. Notice by 9 o'clock, still pretty much the same number. And then during the afternoon, they try to get back up near 10 below. That might be the best we can do. And then the temperature starts to fall off a little bit Friday night. And that's where we just kind of sit, probably 5 to 15 below with air temperatures close to 0. And it won't be warm on Saturday morning, but it'll be better. And there won't be a bunch of kids heading off to school, or you probably won't be heading to work on Saturday morning. But it'll still be cold nonetheless. Look at the wind at its strongest on Friday in the morning, gust 20 to 25. Then it'll kind of tail off into the afternoon. So that will help improve things as well. So keep an eye on Wednesday for the wind, Friday, especially for the cold. That'll be the coldest we've been so far this season. And then a slow rebound on Saturday. And it looks like we're going to see 30s back to some average weather by the early part of next week. But like we've been talking about, we haven't been this cold. We have not officially dipped below 0 yet on the thermometer in the metro.
Yeah,
we'll be there for hours.
Schools may have to make some decisions. It's that cold, right?
Yeah, I think we're right on the edge of that.
Think about it anyway.
We talked about a lot, so I don't have the answer, so don't ask me on social media.
Me either.
They still will.
All right, there is a traffic situation going on in Sarpy at a busy intersection too.
Yeah, we've been watching this right near Highway 370, 84th, which is also known as Washington, where northbound traffic had the right lane blocked, and this is right past the intersection. But as you look at the camera now, you're going to notice it's not there anymore. Looks like we've cleared this out. So we have all lanes now open. So that situation appears to have resolved. But that was an issue that we were seeing there for a little while. And we had some built up delays as a result of that. Still just a little bit slow as you're going northbound right near that intersection. So be ready for that as you head through that stretch. But know that you are looking at things better than they had been near that intersection. Elsewhere, we are looking at some delays that are showing up in a couple other spots. We've had those showing up as you go eastbound on Center, right around 120th. Watch for some minor delays that are in place there. Of course, you got 72nd and L where things are all lit up in orange at this point. That's that intersection that's getting redone. So lane restrictions, the culprit there. And you can see especially northbound really struggling at this point. But we are looking at things mostly pretty quiet in the early going. I do expect, though, we're going to be looking at a lot more traffic that's in place than what we had yesterday. We were mainly incident free yesterday. We had one problem that was in place on Dodge eastbound near I-680. But as we go through this morning, we're going to have to keep a close eye on how things go as people are getting back into that routine. You can see the yellow specks indicating things starting to pick up on a lot of our roads, Maple, Dodge. So as that takes place, we'll keep an eye out for anything else that may pop up, and we'll give you that first alert if we do start to get some problems. Another thing that we need to keep an eye out for as you're heading out the doors, we had a lot of new construction areas that started up yesterday when people maybe weren't going out and about. So we're going to highlight some of those and talk about some alternate routes coming up.
Okay, Jared, thank you very much. On to news now happening this week. Officials are holding 2 streetcar construction information meetings. These are meant to give an update on the construction project. There's also going to be a Q&A session. You can ask about the upcoming work. The first meeting is tonight at the Omaha Marriott downtown in the Capital District. Then tomorrow there's going to be a Midtown Blackstone session at that same time at the Kaufman Room at Scriptown Brewery. That's on Farnham in between 39th and 40th Streets.
Well, more than 2 days after it caught fire, crews are still seen at a South Omaha warehouse fire yesterday.
That's right. Investigators telling First Alert 6 they still cannot get inside the former wood pallet supplier near Dahlman and L because the building is just not safe. Omaha Fire says that no victims have been found. This all started around 1 o'clock Saturday, and since then, OFD says that approximately 1 to 2 million gallons of water have been used to control this fire. At this point, we still don't know what caused it. Happening today, the largest employer in Lexington officially closes its doors.
That is right. About 3,200 people will be left without a job. U.S. Senate candidate Dan Osborne says he believes the closure is illegal. The chairman of the Lancaster County Republican Party believes state leaders like Senator Ricketts and Governor Pillen will work with the people of Lexington to make sure everyone is able to find a job.
This is big versus little, and the little guys are getting squished. They should be selling it to a competitor, which they are not doing, and that's where they're in violation of the law.
I feel for the folks in Lexington, but ultimately we have good people on it, and we've got to work together to get through it.
A recent analysis from UNL estimates a statewide loss of more than $3 billion annually from the closure.
All right, over here at the safety desk now with Maria Cade. Maria, deaths linked to the flu are unfortunately trending upwards, and health experts, they're bracing for a potential of a second round of viruses.
Yeah, it's not done yet. Many people are vulnerable when it comes to the flu, but kids are really in the highest group of vulnerability, unfortunately. So here in the U.S., hospitalizations for flu in kids younger than 18 are at the highest peak weekly rate in more than 15 years. So far, 32 kids, unfortunately, have died because of the flu this season. So the CDC says 90% of those kids were not fully vaccinated. And experts say the best protection against a severe disease is to get that flu shot. Kids 6 months and older are eligible. You also want to wash your hands and wash those highly touched surfaces too to prevent that spread. For young kids, especially at preschool, experts recommend that adults use an alcohol-based rub to remove any germs that might be on their backpacks or any other items that they bring with them to and from school. So if the kid is sick, it's also really best to keep them home until they get better so that we don't continue that spread.
It's a good idea. Wipe down the electronics too, your phone, the tablets, whatever as well.
Once you touch it, then it spreads and spreads. So try to eliminate that.
That's it. You touch your eyes, your face. Oh, okay. Right, Kate, thank you. We're back after this.
Welcome back, everybody. Sure hope your morning's getting off to a good start. If it isn't, take a look at your screen. Isn't that a beautiful look as the sun begins to rise here in the metro? Yes, thank you, Jared. It is cold. We do want to say that, but Rusty, at least we don't have to worry about the wind chills that we had to worry about this time yesterday morning.
Yeah, it was bitter cold yesterday. Those were double digits below zero in many spots. The wind is a lot lighter this morning, so it's good news for you parents and kids getting up and getting going this morning. Yeah, the temperatures are still cold. They're right around 90 degrees, but notice the wind. It says calm right there, and that's where it is most of the year. You might get a breeze up to 5 miles per hour. Traffic moving along well at 90th and Dodge here. Nothing on the roads. Heavy coat, warm hat, and gloves, though. You're still going to want some layers this morning. A lot of calms on the map, and if you get a breeze, it's 3 to about 7 miles per hour. Not a big problem. Great news. We needed that this morning. A lot of wind chills very close to where the actual air temperature is. The clouds are streaming in, though, right now, and they're going to fill up the sky little by little. And later on this evening, they could give us a little bit of snow. Most of it's going to stay to the north. Probably not a huge deal, but watch in our Iowa counties north of I-80. Harlan, Audubon, Carroll, Denison, Woodbine, Pisgah up towards Ottawa and Mapleton. You might get a little coating of snow, maybe a half inch there in some spots. South winds try to warm us up today. They'll get up near 20 miles per hour. Likely going to drag us into the low 30s, and then we'll kind of bounce around a little bit this evening. Once any clouds move out, that's when we're able to fall off quite a bit, down into the teens by tomorrow morning. And then all the focus is on the first Alert 6 weather day for Friday. 7 below to start the day, 4 for the afternoon high. This is the coldest air of the season, the worst of any wind chills we've ever had so far this season. And with clouds rolling in during the day, it's going to make it very, very difficult to warm. Went with 4 for the high. There could be some 6s and 7s. You're not going to be able to tell the difference. Single-digit afternoon highs looking likely on Friday. And you can see here where we're going with that. Let's talk a little bit about the wind chills on Friday, because there's 3 a.m. We're talking 10 to 25 below. We get towards 9 o'clock in the morning. That's a widespread 20 to 30 below here in the morning hours Friday. Trying to improve a little bit, up near 10 below by Friday evening, even as the wind relaxes, and then with temperatures just plain cold. Any breeze in that 5 to 15 mile per hour range should put those wind chills well below zero, even into the morning hours on Saturday, but not quite as bad as Friday. There won't be quite as many people out and about like there would be with kids heading to school on Friday morning. So that's probably a conversation that will be had as we get a little bit closer to Friday.
Absolutely. Now, after Friday, especially going into Sunday, even the next week, how does that rebound look? Is it going to stay at those temperatures?
Well, thankfully, this is just kind of a glancing blow of this really cold air mass. The worst of it's going to be off to our northeast. It's going to move east slow, but steadily. 13 to 23 to 33 and back closer to where we should be by the middle of next week. And you're wondering, how come no snow at this? There's going to be a storm system to the south of us the way it looks Friday into Saturday. Look at this across Texas. This could be a crippling ice and snowstorm across central Texas to Arkansas, Louisiana, and over into the deep south. Alabama, Georgia, there could be some big cities impacted by this. Some models suggest over 1 inch of ice accumulation in places across central Texas. No matter where you're at, nobody's equipped to handle that. And then you put snow on top of that too in some spots. It is going to be a mess across the south. I guarantee you, if that materializes, that's going to be the talker over the weekend, because we might even send power crews that way if that holds true.
That's going to be brutal.
That'd be wild.
My gosh. I mean, it looks like not just us. Everybody has having rough weather on Friday and Saturday.
Big, powerful storm system.
Except the West.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
All right, let's turn to traffic now. Jared has an update to First Alert Us 2 about some new construction we need to know about.
Yeah, and a lot of this started yesterday, so if you're getting back into the swing of things today, I want to first alert you to these so that way you're prepped for those as you're heading out the door. Let's start on Pacific and eastbound travel. As you're right around 67th, you've got 1 lane travel in place. It's a very short section, but that's going to be a possible spot you run into some delays as you head through the weekend. That'll be in place. Similar time frame for Saddle Creek as you're making your way northbound. This is between Leavenworth and Center, where you're looking at that being in place northbound with 1 lane travel for about a week. And then a lot of our other ones are downtown, where we have those areas being impacted. Southbound 16th Street closed between Farnham and Howard. That's scheduled for a month. Northbound remains open, but you may want to use 17th as your alternate route for the time being while that's in place. 12th Street closed south of Harney Street for about a month as well. Farnham itself is closed between 13th and 14th, short section, but that's kind of an inopportune area for there to be a closure. You may have to kind of work your way up to Dodge and then work your way back down if you're trying to make your way to some of the businesses in this area. So kind of a bit of a mess still. We do have some good news. We've reopened Farnham between 11th and 13th, so there is kind of a ebb and flow when it comes to some of these construction projects. A little bit of a slowdown showing up there on eastbound I-80, right around 84th. Not sure what that's about. That just showed up, but watch for that. Elsewhere in the metro, things are mostly moving along pretty well, but we'll keep you posted on the latest with whatever that is on I-80.
All right. Well, know you're watching it. We appreciate the update, Jared.
All right. Well, for the third year in a row, a Big Ten school has brought the college football national championship back home.
That's right. Indiana completes a perfect season with a 27-21 win over Miami. Heisman winner Fernando Mendoza had a key 12-yard touchdown run in the fourth quarter, one of three the Hoosiers ran in on the night. Indiana is on Nebraska's schedule this upcoming season. Yay! That's exactly which weekend we don't know yet, but we'll let you know as soon as they announce it.
It's good to see a team in any sport, I think, unless you're a Miami fan, win who hasn't won ever. I think it's nice.
It was refreshing. And that coach, man, he had them like a well-oiled machine. Yep. And how long has he been coach?
2 years.
Couple years.
Yeah. Up until this year, Indiana was incredibly irrelevant in football. Incredibly irrelevant. And he turned it around, and I mean, they got to throw money at him to keep him.
Oh, yeah. It's amazing.
Let's go Nebraska basketball.
Exactly. It can happen. All right, new this morning, Connecticut got a blast of winter weather over the weekend, and families, well, they're making the best of it.
Yeah, for some, the snow blanketing a golf course made for ideal conditions for sledding yesterday. Well, these kids spent their snow day like any other kid should, sliding down, then huffing it back up the hill. Well, some sledders traded for snowmen, maybe a fort, but the tubes and the sleds won the popular vote with four-legged help and a need for speed. Yesterday was the perfect timing, by the way, being the MLK Junior holiday, and kids were out of the classes to begin with. Can I admit, I've never been sledding.
Oh, wow.
No.
You're in a great place to do it.
Yeah.
Find a hill next time.
Got to do it.
We'll make it happen.
We're gonna get it.
I tell you what, Memorial Park's a hot spot. We just got to get some snow, and it's ridiculous. We had it all early, and now we're just waiting around.
February.
I still think February's got a ton of potential. That's been the month I've said watch all winter.
All right. Aaron, get ready. We're going sledding.
Okay.
A daybreak trip.
Gotta go to the store and buy one.
All right. Thanks for joining us. We're going to get ready for our update in today's show. You can watch it here or over the air.
Have a great start to your Tuesday.
Live from WOWT, First Alert 6 starts now.
Good Tuesday morning, everybody. It is 7:26. I'm Cerise Cole.
And I'm Erin Hartley. Let's get an update on the roads this morning with Jarrett Lansford.
Let's start on eastbound I-80. As you're approaching 84th, we've kind of been struggling a little bit as we are making our way through this stretch. You can see how things are just kind of lurching along. Haven't heard any reports of a crash or anything in this stretch, but you can see how those delays are in place. So watch for that. We'll keep you posted if we do hear anything about a specific cause for that slow travel. Also, 72nd and L, that's construction related, but you can see the slowdowns that are in place in just about every direction there. And the JFK with some delays are starting to build. We're getting back into the normal swing of things, so northbound travel approaching I-80 is slow there. You've also got Dodge slowing down as you're getting around 156th heading eastbound. Watch for some of those delays that are in place. Many other roads like Highway 370 moving along pretty well. Rusty.
It's a cold morning, but we have a beautiful sunrise out there as we get started here. Some clouds are filling up a little bit, but overall, 9 degrees, calm wind, so it feels like 9. We like it when those two numbers are close together, when the numbers are this cold. So we're right around 10 as you head out. The wind chill doesn't vary too much from the actual air temperature. It's a little bit colder off to the Iowa side in west central Iowa there, and any breath of wind does put that wind chill down a little bit. But as you can see, those two numbers pretty similar all across the board. We're at 8 to start, 26 by noon, and better than yesterday's 21. We'll go 32 for the afternoon high today. Aaron?
Happening this week, officials holding 2 streetcar construction information meetings. Now, these meetings meant to provide an update on the construction project. There's also going to be a Q&A session where you can ask about the upcoming work. The first meeting happens tonight at the Omaha Marriott downtown at the Capital District. Then tomorrow there will be a Midtown Blackstone session at the same time at the Kaufman Room at Scriptown Brewery. That's on Farnham in between 39th and 40th.
All right, everybody, it is 7:28. We're back with another update for you in about 25 minutes. We'll see you then.